Hands on Atlanta was started in 1989, so 33 years ago. And the story goes it was 12 friends who got together at Manuel's Tavern. They each put $20 in a beer stein because they had an idea that it was too hard for people to volunteer. And they wanted to create an organization that would just remove some of that frictions. At the time, it was difficult for people in the Atlanta community to connect with nonprofits in a way that was really episodic. So nonprofits were looking for long-term commitments, but they weren't necessarily looking for someone just to show up on a Tuesday for one shift or on a Saturday for one shift. So Hands on Atlanta really created that idea of what's now called episodic volunteering, which gives people a lot more opportunities to get out and serve in the community. We support right now about 150 different nonprofits in the Atlanta community. Those nonprofits tell us their needs, what they have in terms of volunteer needs. We then publish those needs in our portal, and we try to then recruit Atlantans to kind of go fill those. And they can be as simple as showing up one time at the Atlanta Community Food Bank. We support about 50 different food pantries across the Atlanta community, so a lot of work around food insecurity. And then there's even, we go as far as asking folks to serve a year. So we have an AmeriCorps program where we invite people to come in and serve as either tutors or social emotional learning coaches in schools. I'm a big booster for the city of Atlanta, and I don't think that there's a better city. And yet, I think there's a lot of room for us to grow. There are tremendous unmet needs. I'm on the phone every day with nonprofit leaders who are finding it difficult to simply staff their work. We're struggling to meet the needs of people to come out and just fill the episodic volunteer opportunities that we're promoting to the community. I'm always very proud of the way in which Atlantans will rise up to meet the current challenges. It's very inspiring. I just want people to know that there's also a tremendous more that we as a community need to be doing. So a couple of years ago, we created Hands on Atlanta Week. So we just finished it. It was Arthur Blank's 80th birthday. So with Arthur, we did 8 marquee projects over the course of the week, which were all fantastic. And then we had about 200 total service projects happening. We engaged close to about 5,000 people in service. We want to try to make it as easy as possible for people in the Atlanta community to just show up and remind themselves of how much fun volunteering can be, how easy it is to kind of get out in the Atlanta community. So this was a really great way for us to remind people, especially coming out of the pandemic. We needed something like Hands on Atlanta Week to remind folks and to bring people out en masse that it is now safe to come out. We can be out in the community. So it was a really, really wonderful week. But on our platform, you'll find everything from the very traditional, I'm gonna go on a Saturday or a Tuesday to go mentor or tutor a child, to digital volunteering. So there's all kinds of opportunities for people to really get involved, really across the spectrum, from very short micro volunteering to spending an entire year of really serving in one of our schools or one of our nonprofits. I just want everyone in Atlanta to feel that sense of responsibility for their neighbors. And especially as we're now coming out of this pandemic and there's an opportunity to kind of open our community up again, I want people to be thoughtful about how they're really spending their time. And I think that everyone has more time than they imagine. I think there's this sense that we're also overwhelmed and there's just so many things going on, but there is a lot of need in the Atlanta community, and I want our community to really continue to try to fill those needs.